The expert mountaineers had brought ice climbing gear in case of an emergency. While they tried to reach Jörg, someone else skied to the group ahead and told their guide what had happened. The guide radioed the Air Zeermit rescue team, and a helicopter was dispatched to the scene.
Unterkühlung bedeutet, dass die Körpertemperatur.
If a person is exposed to freezing temperature, that means that the temperature of the body will sink to a dangerous degree. And if it reaches that degree for any length of time, then that means that the heart and the body functions will simply stop.
Setzt ein Herzstillstand ein. Weil ich eben wusste, es ist
I knew it was a race against time, and every minute felt like an hour.
Jens Solhofer lowered two friends into the crack in the glacier.
I was scared. Christian and Daniel, we all were frightened. We realized we would have big problems to get him up by ourselves.
The first when I saw him, I saw that it's serious because we couldn't help him. Jörg was already frozen to the ice.
It took half an hour for them to get to Jörg. Although he was lodged 75 feet below the surface, he was still alive.
In dem Moment kam bei mir etwas Panik auf.
At that moment, I slightly panicked, because I didn't see any way of getting him out of there. He was really trapped. He told me, I can't breathe, I'm so squeezed in, I can't get any air.
Ich glaube, der Rucksack behindert dich. Ich versuche dich auch zu lösen.
Mach schnell!
Danny, ich brauche ein Taschenmesser!
It was frustrating for me because we could just talk with Jörg and not help more. And Jörg actually talked about dying. Because the crevasse was rounded, he couldn't see the sky, nothing. It was just ice, snow.
Because of strong winds, it took the helicopter more than an hour to reach the scene. Among those who responded was Alpine ski guide Kurt Lauber.
You have to be really lucky that you can survive if you fell into a crevasse. I don't know, maybe it goes 50 to 50% that you survive or that you die.
Eine Zeit lang hat Jörg vom
There was a time when Jörg talked about giving up. He said, I must go to sleep. I'm feeling faint. There's no sense in struggling on. I'm never going to get out of here. And then Daniel shouted down, come on, Jörg, behave yourself. You can't go to sleep. You must fight.
We was working with a small ice axe because as long he sees that something is going on, he's not so afraid. The first thing what I thought was that we need to have an air hammer, because there was no way, no chance to get him out without the air hammer, because his hands, his boots, and also his skis, they went stuck into the ice.
By the time an air hammer arrived at the accident scene, Jörg had been trapped for more than 2 hours.
With the air hammers, they could break out big pieces of ice. They worked slowly, but they had to do it very safe. They were being as careful as possible.
Jörg had been pinned between the walls of ice for nearly 5 hours, when rescuers finally freed him enough so that they could try to lift him out.
Jörg told us that he's not feeling his legs. So we thought maybe his back is broken. And if you are not really careful, they may be paralyzed afterwards.
Jörg war fast leichenblass. Hatte ganz.
Jörg was almost as pale as death. His lips were a deep purple, his eyes half closed. The freezing was taking its toll. Hypothermia was near.
Emergency medicine specialist Dr. Axel Mann had been flown in to treat Jörg as soon as he reached the surface.
In
the last half hour that he was in the crevasse, he almost lost his consciousness. That meant that we had to assume that his body temperature had fallen way down below the critical point of 80 degrees. That meant that there was an absolute danger of Jörg losing his life.
We could feel the relief of all the people, including the rescue team. He was out there and he was alive. It's like being reborn. It's like a second life.
Jörg was transported to a hospital in Visp for treatment. He was released after 3 days with no lasting effects.
Das ist dann wirklich nur noch den Bergführern und auch meinen Kollegen zu verdanken, Daniel.
It is only due to the mountain guides and my friends, like Christian and Daniel, that I am still alive. They constantly encouraged me. They tried to tell me to overcome the situation. They inspired me not to give up. They actually risked their lives for me. So I'm certain that without these people, I wouldn't be here today. I would not have survived.
If you go mountaineering, teamwork is very important. So for me it's normal, if you go to the mountains together, then you help together. And for us it was just the right thing to do when we were down there. We had no thoughts about being heroes or something like this. It was just the right way. And afterwards I feel like Clint Eastwood.
Just because an accident like this one happened, one shouldn't now have the feeling or impression that it's very risky to go on ski tours and to ski in the free nature. All in all, a ski tour is surely still less dangerous than driving a car.